Guys, welcome. How are we all doing? Okay, so time for another video. I've not done a video for 2 or 3 weeks. This one is answering the question that comes up a lot on online forums and YouTube videos and things. A lot of people say, how fast, what's the top speed of a Royal Alloy 125, a GT125? And there's varying answers, right? Some people I've read are only getting 45, some are getting 55 or 60 out of them. So there seems to be a big variation. So I thought what I'd do this evening is take the scoot out, full speed down the bypass, which is on a decline, slight decline. We'll open it up and we'll just see what speed we can get to, right? Now to measure it, we know that the speedos on these things are notoriously inaccurate. In fact, I've just been hit by the dreaded speedo problem, right? The speedo on this, everything is still working on the gauge, right, the instrument panel, everything's working apart from the speed is extremely erratic. It'll go from anything from 0 miles per hour to 120 miles per hour on the display, right? So I've been hit by the dreaded speedo problem. I'll do a separate video on that because I think I know what's causing it. And what I'm going to do for this video now is I'm going to put the phone, I've downloaded a couple of apps, kind of speedo apps, and I've tested them against the car cruise control, right? So I've driven in the car at steady cruise control speed and I've compared the difference between the apps and my car, right, which is considered to be reliable, of course. And there's always a difference. The apps are always, number one, there's a few seconds delay in them catching up, and number two, they're not as accurate. They're actually down. So there's a discrepancy of anything between 6 and 8%, and I'll put the figures up on the screen for you later on so that you can see when we're working out exactly how fast we've gone. But we're going to use the phone and the GPS to measure the speed that we're going and just see what we can do. All right, now we know that normally the speedos on these are about 10% up, right? So if you're doing 66 miles an hour, you're probably only doing about 60 in reality. But we're going to find out, right? We're going to put it to the test, and I'm going to try and get the camera on the phone so that you can see it clearly. And I've waited until we just turn into dusk outside, right? So you should get a better view of the phone. All right, so I'll put the phone on the scoop and off we go. Okay guys, so we're just on our way to the bypass, and hopefully down there on the left hand side you can see the GPS on the phone. I did try and mount it on the right hand side, but it got in the way of the accelerator and the brake a little bit, so I kept it on the left, and hopefully you can see that quite clearly. Now at this point the speedo was all over the place. It was reading anything from 0 up to 100 mile per hour. It's literally all over the show. It's just gone recently at about 8,500 miles, but I think I know what the problem might be, and I think I might know how to rectify it. So I will do a separate video on that in the very near future. So hopefully you can see the GPS reading there on the left hand side, and we're heading up towards the bypass. When we get onto the bypass, it will be a slight incline as we shoot up the bypass. Going to get to the roundabout, turn around, come back down on the decline, so it's slightly downhill, and then we'll check the speed and see what we can get it up to. Okay. So if you've watched any of my previous videos, you will know that I am riding a standard Royal Alloy GT125, no modifications. It's a standard exhaust. The only thing I have done is I switched the standard factory fitted rollers to Dr. Pulley sliders, but it did not make any difference to the top end at all. So it hasn't, to all intents and purposes, it is a standard Royal Alloy GT125 with no modifications. So let's see how we do. We're just coming onto the bypass now, and going to be heading uphill. What we're going to do is whiz up to the top end and then come back because it's on a slight decline. Okay guys, so we're just coming out near the bypass, and we're going to come slightly downhill. We've got a little incline to do first, and then we'll hit the top and we'll be slightly downhill all the way, and we'll just see what speed we can get to. So remember, the speed that you are seeing on here is about 6 to 8% less than we're actually doing, and that's measured against the cruise control in the car, right? So I'll keep trying to get this in shot, and hopefully you'll be able to see it. And let's see what we can do. For some reason, what I've noticed as well in scootering is people who've got 125 seem to be obsessed with top speed. I mean, if that's the issue, just go and get a 200 or a 300, or, you know. I don't really get the obsession, but I'm just doing this video because a lot of people seem to be hung up on it. And it is kind of interesting as well, right? So, we're ready. We'll wait till we get a clear run. Right then, let's see what we can do. Now, if you watch my previous videos on the speedo, it would get up to about 68, and I was thinking that was probably about 62 miles an hour. On the GPS now, we're currently reading 54, 55, and remember, this is less than we're actually doing. 56 on the GPS. You can see the speedo there is completely erratic. It's on 153. It's all over the place. Now 59 on the GPS, guys. 59 on the GPS. I think that's pretty respectable, considering that that is reading less than we're actually doing. We're just going to reach the top of the hill now, and then we'll get a slight decline down the hill, and we'll see what we can get up to. You ready? Don't forget as well, I've got the fly screen on, which probably creates a little bit of resistance. .56 on the GPS, 57, 58, 59. Will it hit 60? Any advance on 59? Any advance on 59? Going once. Going twice. Bottomed out at 57, guys. 58. Coming back up. We're on a slight decline again. We're going down. 58. 59. Any advance on 59? 59. 59. Can we get 60? Can we get 60 on the GPS? Going once. Going twice. 58. 59. Sir, 59. No advance on 58. 59. Thank you, sir. 59. Can we get 60? Last call for 60. 60 miles per hour on the GPS. Anybody? 58. We're stuck on 58. Come on. This has got to be a 59 or a 60, guys. Come on. Oh no, we're going slightly uphill again. So guys, 59 was the top speed there on the GPS. 59 on the GPS. Let's compare the figures and take the discrepancy of the GPS into account. Alright, check this out. Okay guys, so you can see here on this chart that I've just written down the figures, and you can see that when I'm doing 30 miles per hour in the car on the cruise control, the GPS is reading 28 miles per hour. So 30 miles an hour is a 7.14% increase from 28 miles per hour. All right, so that's how I've worked it out. So when I'm doing 50 in the car, I'm reading 47 on the GPS. 60 in the car is 57 on the GPS, and 65 in the car is 61 on the GPS, which is so 65 is a 6.55% increase on 61. All right, now what speed were we doing? We reached a top speed of 59, which is halfway between 57 and 61. So I'm just taking the average of those two percentages down there on the 60 and 65 reading, and as you can see from these workings, that gives us this figure here. So we can add 5.9% onto what the GPS is actually reading. All right, so 59 plus 5.9% gives us a top speed on the Royal Alloy GT125 unmodified of 62.4 miles per hour. All right, and just for the record, by the way, I'm about 12 stone, maybe 12 and a half stone on a heavy day, right? So I fluctuate between 12 stone, 12 and a half stone. So you may be heavier, that may affect your speed of your Royal Alloy. All right, but that's what I find, guys. If you've got any comments, pop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you like the videos. Cheers, guys.